It's Bronte Spicer. If you don't know me, welcome to my page. I help teachers and parents instill powerful, mindful tools and strategies so our families can be free of anxiety and depression. So, today I want to talk about this when you just can't stand being slow and you really want to be able to be present with your kids, but they're just not doing things your way or they're taking forever and it's just getting under your skin and it's like you just feel like your insides are going to explode. So, the first thing that I want to share is that the trigger is happening within you. So, when we're triggered, we're experiencing a trigger that's inside of us. And so, on a biological level, your nervous system is shifting out of a rest and digest response and into the fight, flight, freeze response. So, and that doesn't need to look like a full, it's not necessarily a full blown like aggressive state. It could be just, you could be moving out of the rest digest state and then gradually into this survival response, we call it, which is the fight, flight, freeze. So, and then we also know that as parents, we have this explosive rage that just like happens within an instant. And it's like, oh my gosh, my whole body is about to explode. And then we scream, and then we're like, that's exactly what we didn't actually want to do to our kids. So often we'll say, if only they did, everything would be fine. But actually, it's our job to take responsibility for what's happening within us. So our nervous system is dysregulated at that time. So some emergency techniques could be taking some slow, deep breaths, walking out of the room, practicing some basic mindfulness. And then at a later time, it's our job as the parents to process and find out what's the root of what is going on. Why can't I just slow down and be with my kids, just with what they're doing? Why do I have to have things happen my way? Why can't I just let them do it their way? So I'll just explain a little bit about deficiency stories, and for those of you who are reading my book, you will know a lot about this. And so our deficiency stories are like a web of beliefs that tell us that we are deficient in some way. So an easy way to think about this is that they're negative beliefs that we have about ourselves, and this web of beliefs, this set of beliefs that I like to see as like a tree. So the roots of the tree hold the core, the root deficiency stories or core deficiency stories. And then we have our deficiency stories through the branches, and then we have our surface level problems on the leaves of the trees. So our negative sense of self is this web of stories. And so when we're triggered and our nervous system shifts out of that connection into protection, so from that rest digest into the survival response, our nervous systems become dysregulated and our deficiency stories are being pushed and activated. So that it may not be that apparent when our kids are annoying us. But when we go and do the inquiry work, when we use something like the Killer Bee inquiries, we can find out what's really driving this. So here's an example. Let's just imagine that you are with your child. You really, you want this quality time to be present with your child, but they're just doing your head in and you just can't stop and slow down and be with them because they're doing something that's really getting to you. It's grinding you, it's annoying you, it's irritating you, it's getting under your skin. So what you can ask is to understand, when you're once you've regulated your nervous system again using some basic or emergency response techniques like deep breathing, taking yourself away, or some basic mindfulness, then the way to clear the root of it, the heart of this, the heart of this like irritation is to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I just stayed here with my child? What's the worst thing that could happen if I was just present with them? What's the worst thing that could happen if I just slowed down? And so you start to realize what is actually stopping you. So what's stopping you from actually being here? Often, as parents living in a busy world, we can have this feeling of this sense of urgency. It's like a deep-seated sense of urgency that's like an undercurrent within us, and we just feel like, oh, there's more to do, and there's more jobs, and we don't have time for this, and we just got to keep moving. But unfortunately, that's not providing our kids the space and time to grow and experience life in this slow and gentle and nourishing way. And I don't want to paint like a perfect picture. You know, I'm talking to myself as I'm sharing this as well. So we're all doing the best that we can. But what an example could be is if I slowed down and I was just with my child and I was just letting her do the thing that she wanted to do. Um, and it was taking forever. um, the story that could be there is, but this has to get done. You know, so maybe you've got another big job that has to get done today, and you want to get that done as soon as possible. And then you can ask yourself, and what if that doesn't get done? I'll fall behind. And then you can ask yourself, and what would that mean about me if I'm falling behind? And your answer intuitively, just listen and wait for the response. It could be, I'm not doing a good enough job as a parent, or I'm not good enough, or it could be like sometimes when we feel like we're falling behind or we're missing out, I'll be alone. No one will love me. No one will be with me. I'll be left behind. So if we're left behind, then we're generally alone, which is a core deficiency story that most of us, if not all of us, have deep down on a deep level. So that's how we get to the root of the story. And then when you practice the techniques in my book, It's Okay to Cry, or if you jump into my program, Beyond Belief, and work with me one-on-one and in the group setting, then you can practice how to unhook from those deficiency stories like, I'm not doing a good enough job as a parent, or I'm failing, or I'm alone, I don't belong. So let me know if you have any questions about that. If this is calling you and if you really want support to learn some very powerful mindful tools and strategies so your families are free of anxiety and depression, then you can private message me for a quick consult. Otherwise, grab my book and start with that, and reach out if you've got any questions. Take care. Bye.